Місця зайняли і потихоньку будемо починати нашу панельну дискусію. Мене звати Ignacy Jóźwiak, я науковий співробітник Центру дослідження міграції Warszawskiego Університету. І так, наша панель буде на англійській мові, але якщо комусь буде зручніше виказати свої думки або ставити запитання на українській, то це не проблема. Ми тут розберемо з перекладом. Тут деякі з наших учасників також будуть розмовляти і українською, і польською, і чеською. No це справжнє розмаїття тут у нас буде. Okay, so dear participants, welcome to our roundtable discussion. Our panel is entitled "And for the War to End, Ukrainian Roma Oral Histories as a Part of the Oral History and Testimonies of Displacement Within and from Ukraine." My name is Ignacy Jóźwiak. I work at the Center of Migration Research at the University of Warsaw, and it is my pleasure to chair this discussion. Before we start, let me, on behalf of our team, express our gratitude for the Ukrainian Oral History Association for having us here. We are also grateful to the Polish Association of Oral History for accommodating our participation and contacting us with the organizers. And considering the fact that we are where we are, and that even in this westernmost and the safest region of Ukraine, we cannot forget what is happening in the country. Yesterday and this night we had air alerts, so which reminds us that the war is still ongoing, even though it may seem far away from us. And I believe this is also a round point to express our gratitude and honor to all men and women in the ranks of Ukrainian armed forces and national guards. It is of Ukraine. It is thanks to them that we can meet here in relative safety. So regarding our panel, it is related not only to the current war, the full-scale war in Ukraine. It derives from the more general history of armed conflicts, displacements, and the position of the Romani people within these contexts. And having in mind the experiences of Roma during the Second World War or the wars following the collapse of Yugoslavia and the marginalization of Roma in the post-war Europe and under certain realities and discourses, we would like to point to the long and ongoing struggle of the Roma activists and organizations to recognize Roma as victims of war, but also as a part of resistance and resilience to wars, totalitarian systems, and so on. Our panel aims at bringing together the Roma and non-Roma activists and academics from Ukraine, Poland, and the Czech Republic, who actually all of us here since the beginning of the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine have been documenting the lived experiences and the situation of Ukrainian Roma forced migrants abroad, Ukrainian Roma IDPs within Ukraine. We've been also active in assisting and supporting Roma both in Ukraine and abroad. It is also our duty to point out that just like any other citizens of Ukraine, Ukrainian Roma can be found among the forced migrants, but also soldiers in the Ukrainian armed forces. They are also among volunteers, members of organizations actively working for their community and for their country. We believe that this polyphony of oral accounts from Ukrainian Roma is a valuable contribution to the research about and the advocacy for the Roma communities, and that it is crucial, and it is also crucial for bringing up change. This is actually what was discussed on the first day of our conference, and with our keynote speaker, that knowing the past, remembering, or choosing what we want to remember, what we want to forget, is also the way to pave the future. So we also believe that we are contributing to the future of Ukrainian Roma communities in Ukraine and abroad. And our panel is an effect of years of action, research, and networking in different contexts. But what brings us today here is our cooperation in the framework of the international research project entitled Unequal Citizenship and Transnational Mobilization of Polish, Czech, and Ukrainian Roma in the Face of War in Ukraine. And the project is conducted at the Center of Migration Research at the University of Warsaw, the Institute of Ethnology of the Czech Academy of Sciences, and the Faculty of Social Sciences of the Charles University in Prague. And this is the right point to introduce our panelists. Monika Szewczyk, an associate researcher at the Center of Migration Research at the University of Warsaw, who is currently pursuing her PhD in the Doctoral School of Social Sciences at the Jagiellonian University, proud member of the Polish Oral History Association. Monika's research interests encompass Roma migration, mobility, issues of national and ethnic minorities in general, and the role of oral history in identity politics. Monika is dedicated to preserving Roma culture, traditions, and oral transmissions, and the role of the Romani language as a carrier of cultural heritage of the Roma. Monika is also the member of the Jóźwiak Foundation. Then we have Elżbieta Mirga-Wójtowicz, an associate professor at the Center of Migration Research. Elżbieta has 15 years of experience in governmental administration and non-governmental organizations, monitoring and shaping policies toward ethnic and national minorities, with the particular emphasis on Roma. Elżbieta is a member of the Jóźwiak Foundation and a member of the European Roma Institute of Art and Culture. We also have Tatiana Storozhko, a Roma activist, researcher, and educator engaged in various facets of Roma advocacy, from historical and cultural studies, teaching, awareness raising, activism, human rights. She's a member, actually the leader of the Center of Social Transformations, NGO, and well, basically, Tatiana is involved both in collecting testimony and in community organizing. Then we have Marketa Hajska, a senior researcher at the Institute of Ethnology and Central European and Balkan Studies at Charles University. Marketa's research focuses on the history of Roma in Czechoslovakia, Romani migration, and inter-ethnic contacts, and she has very extensive and rich experience in the study with Romani communities in Czechia, Slovakia, and among Czech and Slovak Roma abroad. And last but not least, we have Krisztina Kulcsar, a Roma activist and social worker from Ukraine, Transcarpathia, currently living in the Czech Republic, where she assists the Ukrainian refugees, including the Roma. So after this long but I think necessary introduction to provide the context for our panel, I shall give the floor to Elżbieta. Before giving floor to Elżbieta, I forgot to mention one important fact, that we will show you a very short documentary. Elżbieta will tell more about it. So, okay, so now I give floor to Elżbieta, please.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, for having me. Yes, we will start with the display of a short documentary we did as a part of our humanitarian activities as a Jóźwiak Foundation. The project was supported by Ergo Network, European Roma Grassroots Organization, and EPIM program, which is European Philanthropic Initiative for Migration. The title of the movie is "And for the War to End," and it is specific. It's not a movie. It's more rather a film, multi-voice narrative. Actually, you will see it's kind of part of the oral history. It was made in 2023. Between March and May, and we did it in shelters and in temporary flats rented by various NGOs for Roma refugees. After the screening, we will have time for discussion, so we invite you to sit.
Okay, so time for the movie.
Написала молитву: Боже великий, і ти, Божа мати, послухайте, що я вас буду благати. У мене сини є отут на Донбасі, де ці москалі ще стріляють прокляті. Боже, великий, ласкавий, хороший, будь поруч з синами моїми, я прошу. Я дуже благаю тебе, Мати Божа, хай ангел святий моїм дітям поможе, хай колі далеко-далеко літають, хай діток моїх не зачіпають. Боже, синів ти мені збережи, у мене їх мало, ти знаєш, лиш 3. Я дякую, Боже, тобі за все, що робиш щодня ти для мене, за хліб наш насущний, і сонце, і сніг, та зараз і в мене проблеми. Я хочу, мій Боже, щоб ти нам поміг Артура і Давида дождати, бо мої сини воюють за нас, найкращі у світі солдати. Благаю, мій Боже, синів захисти, простри свої руки над ними. Не дай нам, мій Боже, зазнати біди, бо хто окрім тебе поможе. Я вдячна тобі за все, Боже. Я прошу, благаю, синів збережи, і більше нічого не треба. Amen na kamlom tedy naše. No, kanape značný děje vojna, míry Murša o Artur Teodavide sa spre vojna, zazvoním da kende mamo zalele čajoren, bočile sa čajora, a Murša pre vojna. Kan zalen le čajoren, a ima da dive džan heda dari. No, amen na džana, so, čeladinik na livine, na nič. No, ale bo pende zalele čajoren, te dža heda dari. Ma Ади, Андре Польша, мен шунде мой стопес, действительно одей кердел, са ружне гвалти, стопес одей кердел. Тоски он амен претанле о ямен теджа дгед, пале Украина. Пресмильниця амен гейлям. No, одей гейлям граница, є краки присутям Андре осередок, те одей се волонтери, no, родина скай касте цовен. Амен авлю, авка, никуда. Nauhat avlum, nici na džanas, kaja minđas, soskija minđas, nici na džanas. Te ona minge arakle oda ker, kaja min dživat, dži kanake dživat odi. Andro rudno dolne. Odi dživat, keraz butike gađi, Ну, перше се самі ще, бо он худе надбаре лове важамент, вамен буджане сам. Пальшке разо келенде прополе, келенде поле баро, esa sote keren. No, a sarpes kończyndzie 40 plus, kończyndzie PZ polem, sta nienużne odšilям. No, Alka Proradivіловська гейлям, Едіта мені посоветувала, якраз Араклям, жива в повному страху.
Soila,
Та й
про
та.
Україна, Soila, Адай, Надяна.
Та якби то лиш окала проблеми Амара, які джіве, був тієї школи, але амені гінмен проблеми оди, учави. Так обожно діве здіки з пісіндя, пісіндя саміште, джівдо, саміште. На пісіндя, tu ima все, Андро інтернет, родись ружне відомості собачілля. Акіка на загинуло 700 амарен, Andro Solidar, a ona piscina min polodaду i dives, mema pirasar, no sarmuli, manginična, campelas me piradrovas, si menadžano da naše te objašnjene, soču spinel manuš, kana tuđane do jode kaj tiro čavoro, 700 ljuda zginuli, a tiro čavoro napisi. Tu paća zojna, da na miro.
Зараз зробіть паузу, будь ласка.
Da miro čavoro.
І так, зараз повітряна тривога, треба нам вирішити, що нам далі робити. There is an air alert and I think we shall decide what to do.
Якщо я хочу спуститися, можу спуститися.
Okay, so if you want, we can leave the premises and hide to the bomb shelter, but if you wish to stay, we can stay and continue. Якщо хочете, якщо бажаєте, можемо піти в укриття, але якщо не бажаєте, то можемо залишитися тут і продовжати працю. Що робимо? Так, окей. Модератор готовий продовжувати роботу. Okay, the moderator agrees to, so for our own, it's our personal responsibility, but on our personal responsibility, I declare that we decide to stay and continue. Okay, please continue the movie. Вмикайте відео, будь ласка.
No, namiro čavoro, ale dara, roves, переживлін, і канал пісінел, ма самуке, са розчиве, все, міро чавoro, пісіндя, галадилецьке, міро чавoro, пісіндя, та, воренька, мен казнаджане зашардяла, кошунен, міро чавoro, пісіндя. Ай, со, менаджано саро да шайте об'ясні, да кампе те придживено, да. Ой, те ахаляно, да на просто на пісінело чавoro, о привойна, те о на пісінелі ма варесо наміште. Але бо шай ей со телефон на шадя, засігнане, ну шай гінай со, але бо ту одана пачестики, соски на пісіне. Ну старо бірінел те на пісіне, ну соски о на пісіне. Еса да со випадок, менги неса да дипомштабна война, сігезе, бо пена учавет буталік ма войовіни міре. Ну та одавід задзвонідя, сар мамо чайора, бо са чайора обачили. Saro čajora, kinde andre škola, urde, salen hin, ta pena pisina tu na переживали, а me adi samaškar peskere, te nane to me продовго зла pisina, me peskeradi da tu palpeste di bo tu korkoro maškoro cuze gađe, a u pisina mamo adi nane cuze, a men sa peskere. A u jegrom, ando 137 maja, ove se z jegrom. Te u penadi nanecu, da menadi sa peske. Han hin rudne lengeri gramoti, da je hin klятва od toho pihotinca, da je klятва kaj udela, terpak David, miro ciknederoča. Tady male Arturo skoro. Man hin perdo lengeri gramoti stavoro. No. O David, морська піхота, а зараз він лікар у 103-й Львовська територіальна оборона. Але бо він канаки пажобах. Міри мурша содуй, він лен награди, да, о Артур, железно хрестос лес. Ну, награди він лен, айсо. Він лес трін. Часавери маннани зніть тера.
Да.
Артур і кодавите гін. Даві канаки наградин, де ча канаки авкасік на ракату менге. Будаса рущукердо. Ну. Да, у Артур Міро. Близькі 28. О, Артур. Давік Наджанов чи авкасік. Тарака. Да, учави Андре школа, Андре, кадим Андре Польща. Але Давік Канаки начерла наградзинде в начале місяця. Тоже желізний хрест.
Нам вичинен Лариса Токар, когда ми висаври семья, мира семья, ви Регина Авас Андре Польска, на Андро Панчто Марцо саме на вагас лецикнечавенца, ме коркори Авас, Роміро, Кейреса саме на вагас. Pare zamengesas, igen pare zamengesas te avem, bo igen pare sa zakor boshilsa igen fest. Amen. So birinja mudacha gilam preamende i auka avahazamen. Te urena mena i suvnična ilja matehana mena iljam peganici, bo ne sazamen ka gra zakor pinjonzija mena esas i auka men te avahas. Doghelja mamen gili boste, imali bostar amen pro autobusa, ima volonteri rakinkerde pro autobusa, pro ma doghelja džike hranica, amen terljuvah zanrodi kolejka, Andre sarodi hranica pezvičimas libostar mima bisterdjom, Andro Ternopol čekaju da amen samas.
Krakowice.
Ha, amen.
Раковець.
Ha, amen ode samas, no amen ode. Me nigda šohajte bute manušen, kad si me džival, me but pirkeras, me andro butja pirkeras, me megajci manušen nigda šoha me but. Čave akam ražine nas le ljudoske odjoda sar svigo, sar pagine nas očave. Mražine nas, je gađi až rodzindja androdi kolejka, rodzindja le čavores. I как раз меште осигніндете вічини наврі оді карета швидка і заілила і авкала легенди Андрепольськала легенди. І мама одісирала легенди. А яка пура гаджа за та пошіндила їй муля. О, Людос. Прямо піндренця за та пошіндила і їй муля. Андреполейка.
Як учав Надя, а мене але хто джене, три онуки та йдуть рятівне, борі та й чай. Ляма ми Катарданівській області три, анка шаса кати, раз кебуті. І пареси сямен декере, мам декере умачуло, очаву. Тоже кера буті, щоб те хавдяра у тих парандас, тому що мене будуть пареси. Только штака мотикине, шеяка мотикине, схапека мотикине. Потому что мы наши не клесавли, потому что ден бурник поделен на армии сразу. Он бы надо кукер на никто на врисасе. Я матикина хапета бичала скера. Керас манушенца керавас плюс 500 оформляла ленги. Весели, кеболица. И угаджада дикена с кем пирал. Он кера на мен магаста джески бути. Мы канату менахали, что сумма конкерапина. Найламенде буття мене камелася поманувши, щоб повець пашаменде. Тому що бутрома авена, ми нагалясли і різні нації, цаве ромака і нагалям те зборізен русіті, по ніщо нагалям. Я мене керу камел, то я са поманувши. Авена рома, а ми вен регістрируємо, та даснем керав, гаджеден керавен. Кана кінен хапеленді, шея, кана авена самки гаджет, щоб ти помагають. А и вайгелян, вайдер Украина, вайбрешеса, це почалася війна. Самоско митинги, геласа соплая, тараса сомомоля, гелянго теко российские консульства. Сама соте до 11 ночи. Чаваренце, гадже дикено, бисим Рома тоже, хай с вами,
Мы с вами, да.
Денангали, молодцы, хай с нами. Гилиада сосе гаджеца. Ним амаро украинский. Гадже ровена сокабу. Манда Аделина робила. Потому что анка мануша не то, что кай просто лешо текален ловета и тебешем. Не в этом дело. Мануша муклепу марокер. Мануша нашли катарки война, катарки вида. Сабе мануша в тесямен декай мудар делен. А вот там, де семья сие по военне гена де кукеру мудар деле джувлен де мушен. Савто корандас мудар деле. Ну соби пена, so текерен манушен ге ярдем яла ероменге, потому что дала мануша нале для того, чтобы просто таханте пиента и теджен. А як нашли, он би просто майки пена старися, мы би просто як ханака навался со семьяса, те бешаса кате. Мы би манги, например, мы би бешалас манги кере.
Надо лесохозяйство, надо машина с лесосну, мы сарандуга, лидерова хозяйство, все будут хозяйство, надо след. Машина, пескочера мы десле, надо дому тердю, пескочеру все. Значит, пена, а до погребу пена будем, дітки, пена, пандірава корде все, до погребу тебе ще. А пенен, малуша, пенен, де надо, пенен, що на бомба, а до погребу привалять, на шесть. Позвонила Микаїні, і вчителя, камер не бояться, і учаться. Позвонила Каїні, бо я тонендір врачиха, дітська врач. Кана, що мені робити? Я не знаю, що мені робити. Кана, чи виїжджати, чи не виїжджати, і куди виїжджати? Якщо манди бояться, ми лично не роз'їжджалися ніколи. Ми привично чере. Бояться манди теж привичний чере. Школа, по школах, все, а далі нікуди. И мы, короче, до 11 числа, когда мучились, мы насловался срятинца. Ни мы говорим, насловила срятинца. Пенема врачиха, не жди, виїжджай, забери дітей, спасай дітей. Куди хочеш виїжджай, тільки щоб не були ви тут. Спасай дітей. Ти просто агажі фурісляться, стара людина. Ти просто не розумієш, що це війна. Забери дітей і виїжджай куди. Де твої глаза бачать? Ми в канал. Ріта Івановна, куди я поїду? Що я буду? Куди? Я не знаю нічого, куди мені їхати. Куди люди їдуть, туди йти. І вчителя, коли саме входили. На 11 числа, до 11 числа, коли 24 до 11 числа, коли терпіла, залімили бетоном, пощадимо всіх. Вся вставила повністю, забрала своїх дітей. І виїхала. Приїхали ми на вокзал. Ми приїхали сюди. Приехали сюда, нам сразу, правда, сразу моментально хозяин хороший, дав нам сразу місто і каже, не переживайте, буде все нормально. Каже, скільки у вас дітей? Кажу, 4, ми сюди приїхали. Я вже тут 9 місяців, а я тут сидю і жду, поки вона закінчиться війна. Хазяїн за мною, люди тут за мною, поляки теж тут за мною, всі, за дітей, за мене, тут хороші люди. Ці люди теж тільки що вийшли, теж допомагали нам і одежею, і лікарствами, і з усіми. Хороші люди допомогли нам. Приїхали вони, як узнали, що тут цигани, і вони до нас постійно їздять і допомагають нам.
Palikieras šukaras tokie, kada kai amengieto savoro kadai opēdžau pau tīro dživipen, palikieras šukaras i
І тому дізор благополуччя ходило. Де ту Марія Євєстів Саворенька, я Белоро, то брадвоють, Савореньки радвоють у Белору. То взяв тільки лаші маса. Всі.
So that was the movie, and now I will give floor to Monika. So Monika, please tell us something more about not the movie, but more about the challenges of oral history and for the Roma communities.
Have left all written sources telling the story, their history. Until recently, they have transmitted their history orally in the Romani language. Oral transmission shapes groups' identity, values, goals, beliefs, and social relations. Our documentation work is aimed at preserving the memories, experience, and voices of the Roma. In this way, we try and answer the research on Ukrainian refugees does not like the experience and perspective of Ukrainian Roma, the daily life on the Roma, their culture or social relations. For this reason, to oral history occupies a special place in our research for at least two reasons. Firstly, because of the importance of orality as Roma community, and secondly, most importantly, it gives the Roma to chance to speak about themselves in their own voice in the first person. Oral history helps to expand and fill research gaps in studies regarding in the Roma community. The case of the Roma oral history is not just an...
The air alert is over, just
the case of the Roma oral history is not just an appendix to the traditional history, but should be the main axis in creating a representation of their past.
Okay, thank you, Monika, for this context, and let's continue with our reflections of the memories and testimonies of the Roma in the context of war, survival, and resistance. So now this is the time to give floor to Tatiana. So Tatiana, please, if you could say a few words about your experiences in collecting the testimonies of war, resistance, and resilience.
Thank you. I think I have to say that my professional journey started when I was a participant at Junior Academy of Sciences, and when I was preparing my first paper for this competition. It started with really intuitive fieldwork, because at that time I didn't know anything about oral history. I didn't know a lot of things, but when I started to search information about Roma community in my hometown in Охтирка of Sumy region, I couldn't find anything. So I just went together with my mom to people and started asking stories of their lives. I also didn't hear much about the topic of Roma genocide at history lessons at school. And it was actually the very first times when I was asking people about their past, about their culture, but the topic about Roma genocide was always there. Among these memories, among these family stories, people always came back to mentioning the stories and experience of their own, of their parents, grandparents during Second World War. And then I continued working on the topic. I worked a lot with collections of testimonies of Roma genocide survivors from Shoah Foundation. Also, I cooperated with Ukrainian Center for Holocaust Studies, where we together with colleagues collected interviews and recorded stories of Roma genocide survivors. And I was listening to these testimonies so often that I still can quote some of them. And when the war broke down, when it started the full-scale invasion, I was very often thinking about that we are now experiencing so many things. There are so many experiences and narratives that are not spoken loudly. And because it's not proper time, maybe because people are not heard, or maybe because they are not fitting in the general discourse. And I couldn't stop thinking about, we are learning so long about what happened during Second World War. If we can speak about what is happening now, so how much we still don't know about those events which happened about 80 years ago. I also continued working with the topic of memory and commemoration through work of civil society organizations. And once we organized a trip of one Roma genocide survivor from Ukraine to a big international event which happens every year in Poland. So he could share his memories in front of hundreds of young people from different countries. And this was a very powerful experience for us. He was over 90 and it was risky to take him abroad with us, but also it was so important for him also to be there and to tell his story. And I remember very well how he usually emphasized about the importance of peace and the importance of preserving memory. And he very often told that, I even wrote this quotation, those who never experienced horrors of the war, or at least didn't listen about it, they will never be able to value peace and life. Last year, I participated at the same event where we participated with this survivor. But at this event, I had to moderate the speech and testimonies of my colleague, of my very good friend from Kherson, Roma activist and doctor also. And we were talking after these testimonies. And when we were speaking, we were also crying a lot. It was very emotional. But my friends, they told that they never thought that they will have to sit on the same place where survivor was sitting, and they will tell their own stories of survival. And that also made me to think that there are very few stories and there are very few experiences of Roma community representatives which are spoken about now. But from the very beginning of the war, I heard, I saw, I observed so many different experiences and stories of volunteering, helping other people, surviving also different and diverse experiences. And I think it's really, really important task for us now. So we will also look for those stories and that they will not be forgotten and they will not be lost for future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. And as we already said a couple of times during this session, this Roma struggle for survival, for recognition as victims, but also active parts of resistance, resilience, or mutual aid was formative for the international Roma civic movement. So let me give the floor back to Elżbieta. So Elżbieta, if you could say a few words about the importance and the place of this recognitions of Roma experiences of resistance and survival.
Yes, thank you. I will continue try to speak more about what Tatiana said, that we see this, what is happening to Roma as a part of broader experience of marginalization. And when we take it into consideration, this fact that Roma as a victims of the war, as was the case of Second World War, and for example, war in the Balkans, we see it as a part of our experience, and as a Roma international and national organization, what we start to do from the beginning of the full-scale war, we are focused on documenting, archiving oral accounts and experience of Ukrainian Roma refugees. This documentation includes not only the historical memory of the Roma about the war, but also cases of unequal treatment, discrimination, anti-Gypsyism. We want to collect everything what is related with the experience of the Roma during the war. It's also about, in the research, it's also about, because we are here and we hear a lot of your experience, and you conduct a lot of research, but what we can see, for example, in Poland, that not many research are like, even though if there are interviews with war refugees, Ukrainian war refugees, Roma are not included. So we as a researchers, we as an activist, we need to take care of it, to give the voices of Ukrainian Roma. And also these voices are very valuable inspiration for us as a Roma organization to undertake advocacy activities, to express the interests of Roma community, and to be able to influence the change, to push the government, to push the international and national organization to change, for example, their behavior. And these actions are undertaken also because we want to ensure that the post-war future of Ukrainian Roma, as well as the memory of Roma soldiers, for example, is preserved and is heard. So what we try to do, we try to put in based on our experience, as I said, ages of experience of discrimination and marginalization, we want to be sure that Roma as a community is seen in this common experience, in this common our history of the society, of the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elżbieta. And let's geographically move to the Czech Republic. Marketa, what does the oral history look like in the Czech Republic in the context of Roma, or maybe speaking a bit broader, what's the current state of the Romani studies and collecting testimonies and giving voices to the Roma in the Czech Republic?
Hello. Sorry. Hello, everybody. I can say that in Czech Republic, the oral history the research of oral history in context of the Roma has a quite a long tradition. It started with the name of Milena Hebšmanová as early in the 1970s, who was collecting the Roma testimonies, the same as in Ukraine and Polish context. So it was firstly the survivors of the Second World War, and she made a huge collection of these testimonies. And also her followers, the students of the Department on Romani Studies, where I'm actually working, continued or have continued her work till today. So, well, right now there are no more survivors, but few years ago there were quite big number of survivors. So we have like very great oral historical collection of these survivors and of these testimonies. But also Milena Hebšmanová started the using this method of oral history also on another topic. It was mostly the post-war migration from Slovakia to the Czech lands in late 1940s and in 1950s, and also we were using these methods for mapping the Roma migration to the Western countries in let's say, after the 2004, after the entrance of Czech and Slovak Republic to the European Union. And so we are using this method as one of the main methods of our historical work. And we are really thinking that it can broadly enrich the little bit one side tradition of historians, which based on archival methods and state administration records. And so within this project, ROSIT, on which we are working together with Polish partners, we are also using the methods of oral history as our main sources of data in our research. We are doing interviews right now with the Romani refugees from Ukraine living in Czech Republic, or who were just refugees or forced migrants in 2022 in Czech Republic, and now they are maybe living back to Ukraine or in another Western country, for example, Germany and so on. So we are doing interviews with them, and we are seeing this as very important, really work which gives the voice of the Roma, which can show the perspective, which would be otherwise completely unknown and forgotten, and etc. And I agree with everything which Ella and Tatiana said. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Marketa. And now we shall move to the more to current events, which is not only about memories, preserving testimonies, but also assisting and supporting the Romani communities in Ukraine and abroad. And now I will give floor to Krisztina. Krisztina, тоді в першу чергу розкажи нам, будь ласка, про свій досвід праці з українськими біженцями, з українськими ромами в Чехії.
Ну, як сказати вам, що моя історія у Чехії дуже довга. Скажу вам так, як почалася війна, і за місяць я як вирішила поїхати до Праги з дітьми перший раз. Коли вийшли із поїзда, побачила, що там діється. 100 тисяч людей на тому вокзалі. Усі, як були на землі із маленькими дітьми, жінки і діти. І не знали, до кого, кому що сказати.
I will support this translation. So the story of Krisztina in Czech, it's really very long, and with the beginning of the full-scale invasion, she made a decision to go to Prague together with her children. And when they arrived to the train station, they went out of the train and they saw what was happening there. It was overcrowded. There were maybe 100,000 people around, and they were confused and they didn't know to whom they should appeal and to whom they need to speak at first.
А коли побачила, що роми всюди, як з дітьми, лежать на землі, а українці, хто приїхали з нами з поїздом, зразу їх відводили. А з ромами, як взагалі не хотіли говорити, лишали їх, щоб вони були там на землі. Я коли приїхала, у мене теж із дітьми, самому меншому було 2 роки. І сказала, дайте дитині їсти, чи сунар, бо він ще маленький, а не їв нічого.
And very important scene what she observed when she arrived. She saw that while arriving to the railway station, Roma people, they were sitting, lying everywhere on the ground together with their children. And while people were arriving, Ukrainians were led by people who met them, volunteers, they were taken away, but no one wanted to approach Roma. And Roma had to stay together with their children, sitting and just waiting on the ground. And when Krisztina arrived, her youngest child was just 2 years old, and she wanted to ask her for some food or something for her kid.
А ніхто і не міг подумати, що от кого щось запитати, що хтось поміг нам. Було там багато як волонтерів, але вони як на нас взагалі нуль внимання. Говорили на них, сказали, ідіть спати до поїзда, а потім рано вас одвезуть туди на Кацпу.
And they didn't know to whom to appeal, to whom to speak, but they couldn't even, there was no thought that someone will help them. There were a lot of volunteers at that area, at that place, but they didn't notice Roma representatives. And when someone from Roma community was approaching them with questions or requests for support, they got usually answer, go back to the train or go wait and sleep, and we will deal with you tomorrow in the morning.
І коли ми пішли спати у цей поїзд, там просто як сиділи до рана із дітьми, не дали ані одне покривало, ані воду, ані їду дітям, нічого. Рано в 4 години нам треба було вийти до вокзалу, бо той поїзд їхав кудись. І чекала аж до 9 годин ранку, щоб хтось прийшов за нас, а взяли нас на ту Кацпу. І ніхто не прийшов. Так треба було нам самі ходити туди. Ми йшли туди самі, поставили нас у великий, як палатка велика. І там то саме. Жили в тих палатках 14 днів. І ніхто не обращав на нас внимання. Чекали на візу, на жилье. І потім, коли прийшли чеські роми і зробили про мене відео,
So after that, they left to sleep in the train, and they were staying in that train until 4 in the morning. And during all that time, they were not given even one blanket. They were not given any food or water. And at 4 in the morning, they had to leave the train because the train was leaving. And but no one again came to pick them up. And they were waiting and waiting until the 9 in the morning, but no one was coming. And then there was organized somehow some tents for them. And they were staying and living in those tents for 14 days, waiting for some decision, waiting for visa or other documents. And no one was taking care of them or paying any attention. Until the moment when Czech Roma came to them and recorded a movie about Kristina's story.
Але коли ми там жили 14 днів у тих палатках, і тільки рано давали дітям один сендвіч, як бутерброд, на обід і на вечір. Але там тільки були роми. Українці, хто зразу приходили, зразу їх забирали на жилье. І коли це прийшли чеські роми, і я це все сказала на відео, і вони нам зразу вирішили допомогти. З вещами, з їдою, з питанням. Усе допомагали нам. Навіть там не дали нам ані покривало, і ми там спали. і там дуже було холодно і з маленькими дітьми. Нас десь було жінок десь 100 у тих палатках.
So when they were living in these tents for those 14 days, they were given just one sandwich per child in the morning, then for lunch and dinner. When Ukrainians arrived, they were very. It was very good organized, and they were taken very fast to be settled in some apartments or other places, but no one was taken Roma. They were staying there, but when Czech Roma came, and when they started to tell about this situation, something changed. But before that, in those tents, there were staying about 100 of such women like Krisztina, together with children.
Krisztina, а як ти почала співпрацювати там з організаторами? Який був далі твій досвід самої праці з Ромами у Празі?
Це було так, що був один чоловік, як його звати Роберт Ганька. Дякую йому, що він мені допомог з квартирою, чеський Ром, помог мені з квартирою і помог мені з роботою. Так, дякую йому, що він то мені організував, щоб я могла робити про українців, які роми приходять на главний вокзал, і там їх не розуміли, а я, як і розуміла і український, і мадярський, так я була перекладачка. Так це все йому можу подякувати і всім чеським ромам.
There was one man, Roma, from Czech Republic, Robert Hanka, who helped Krisztina. He helped her to with a place to stay, with apartment. Also, he helped her to get some work. And since she knew language, she knew Hungarian language, she was helping with receiving Roma coming to this area, and she started to work with these coming people, and she was translating and supporting this Roma because of this language barrier. Almost no one could understand them and communicate with them. And also Krisztina said quite a few times that she is very, very grateful and thankful to this person, to Robert, who supported her and who helped her, and also to all Czech Roma for their support and help during this difficult period.
Krisztina, a оскільки це важливо, оскільки збирання різних там історій, різних там доповідей, досвіду від українських ромів, наскільки це важливо для ромських спільнот в Україні та українських ромів за межами України?
Як отут ніхто, як українських ромів послухати не хоче. Як про владу, вони неважливі. Неважливі про владу. І не знаю, що сказати. Як тут ми, роми, українські, постійно будемо нижчі, чим українці. Але ми так теж маємо право, бо ми теж українські громадянини, як і вони. Бо ми постійно взаду, а вони впереду. Так то, думаю, що дасть то рішитись.
So the question from Ignacy was about how Krisztina see it and how she understand. Is it important, and what is the importance of telling the stories of Roma, Ukrainian Roma? And the response is that, in fact, no one wants to listen to Roma, and they don't matter. They are not important for their authorities, and they are living here. They are Ukrainian Roma. They have the same citizenship, Ukrainian citizenship. But in fact, in reality, it looks in a way that the Ukrainians are always in front and the Roma are staying behind. And it's continuous all the time like that.
Okay. Okay, Marketa, but
Just
very
very short comment that I would like to add that there was, especially in the spring 2022, the governmental organization, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders were trying to, let's say, share the problems caused by the arrival of big number of Ukrainian Roma to the Czech Republic. But nobody had the idea to invite also a representative of the group of the Roma migrants from Ukraine. And really, the group was seen as people without any voices, as really a mass of migrants, where there are any activists or representatives of this group, which I think it's crucial in later, let's say, trying of solving their situation, and in the next processes, that the people were seen as a group without representatives or representants.
Thank you, Marketa. So just as a very short summary, let me recall a short Facebook entry from my friend from Kiev who was evacuating from Kiev in early March 22, and while waiting on the railway station in Kiev for the evacuation train to come, she noticed a group of the Roma, and some passengers were quite unhappy about it, and they didn't. Some of them, they were trying to prevent them from entering the train, and one of the women, these were like, families with children, and one of these Romani women shouted, "We are Roma, but we are also Ukrainians. My Cychany, ale my takoż I Ukraińcy." And this is where I think I shall put a full stop, and we still have some minutes for questions, comments, and whatever the audience would like to share or ask.
I wanted to thank you for coming all together and creating this very informative roundtable. And in particular, I thank you, Krisztina, and your people for taking courage and speaking out. I wanted to know how you've met and how it has come to be that you are here. Who had organized that?
But is it the question to Krisztina and the Czech team, or to all of us?
Maybe I will react.
First, Krisztina.
Krisztina.
Jak to jesteś tady se ptát?
Jako nevím. Díky Markety, paní Markety a Daně.
Děkuji.
Thanks to us, because it was that when we were searching for the Ukrainian Roma with whom we can record their testimonies. The first one, actually, or one of the first we met it was Krisztina. So we didn't know each other before, and we did the interview with her, and we just saw the very rich world of experience which she has. And I think she is one of the very few Ukrainian Roma who stayed in Prague and who is living in Czech Republic now almost 2.5 years, which is really exceptional because the other Roma were put it to go back or to another country.
Крістіна, дуже дякую за вашу роботу.
Ja dziękuję.
Ja jeszcze chciałam do tego dopowiedzieć, odpowiedzieć w tej części polskiej do pani pytania.
So Monika would like to add something to the Polish part of your question.
My razem z Elą pracujemy już od 2 lat nad pomocą dla uchodźców ukraińskich romskiego pochodzenia.
With Elżbieta, they've been working for over 2 years, assisting the Ukrainian Roma refugees in Poland.
Razem z Ignacym byliśmy zaraz na początku wojny na granicy w Korczowej.
At the very beginning of war, we were all together, with including myself, at the Polish-Ukrainian border in Korczowa.
I mamy bardzo dużo opowieści Romów o ich właśnie przeżyciach, o ich historii. Tego jest naprawdę dużo i moglibyśmy zająć cały dzień tymi historiami.
We have collected lots of testimonies, lots of stories. There are many of them, and we could spend the whole day presenting them.
Ale też widzimy dużą potrzebę i jesteśmy przekonani, że oral history właśnie jest tą metodą, która pozwala na zmianę społeczną.
And we are convinced, and we believe that the oral history methods is the tool for social change.
I właśnie jako i metoda badawcza, czyli w świecie naukowym, ale też jako projekty NGO, które są bardziej widoczne, bardziej popularne, ale też nas, Romów, jako aktywistów, a przecież oral history właśnie jest bardziej aktywistyczna. I my wychodzimy z oral history jako aktywiści i przekazujemy to dalej, żeby właśnie zostało to zapamiętane.
Because I got lost already, but so oral history method is important for the academics, for the academic research, but also for the NGOs to bring up some change, because it started with activism. They grew from activism, but oral history is also the method to support not only knowledge but also activism. So this is important for especially for the Roma communities.
I bardzo dziękujemy Polskiemu Towarzystwu Historii Mówionej i Alinie Doboszewskiej, że mogliśmy wziąć udział i opowiedzieć o romskiej oral history.
And we are very grateful to the Polish Oral History Association for making it possible for us to come here, and to Alina Doboszewska especially for making it possible and to present the oral history of the Roma.
Właśnie Alinka mnie zaraziła oral history.
It is thanks to Alina Doboszewska that Monika got involved with the oral history.
Okay.
Są pytania.
Okay. I was really moved by the panel, but I have a particular question to the movie, where there is this repeating scheme of a woman speaking and a man or some men sitting next to her and nodding or just saying, some. So is this gender balance or disbalance your choice for the movie, so that you wanted to interview just women, or is it more on, it says more about the culture of and the gender balance in the Roma community?
Nie, to nie chodzi o kwestie genderowe. To chodzi o to, gdy zbierałyśmy świadectwa właśnie ukraińskich uchodźców, kobiety romskie prosiły nas, żebyśmy nie pokazywały w filmie mężczyzn, ponieważ może im to zaszkodzić.
So this is not about like gender issues. The simple fact is that when they were taking these videos, they were asked not to show the men because it could cause some troubles for them.
Mamy nagrane wypowiedzi mężczyzn, ale nie jest to jeszcze czas na to, żebyśmy mogli to pokazać.
We have some recordings, we have some more recordings, but this is not the right time yet to show it. Any other voices from the audience? Dana. Okay, so first one question there, and then Dana.
I'm not, I just wanted to really thank you. And I just wanted to say that I think this panel is the most meaningful panel in this conference. And I'm very grateful that you are reminding us what we are doing here and what we should be doing here. And one more, I also would like to thank especially Krisztina for not losing some hope for us, I wouldn't say that we're being supportive, but at least trying to make a step towards that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I can see your hands raised, but I think Dana also wanted to say something. Czy potem? Potem, okay. So.
Yes, I would like also probably like to refer to your comments to Julia. That's probably it's finally the war. The war was this trigger that we hear finally the Roma voices. Somehow it's really we are unhappy about this, but it's probably the chance. Also, like I would like also to thank you for that we have this chance finally to hear this Roma voice. I also probably have a little bit of provocative questions in the sense that we know that Roma are treated probably better now in these countries, like in Poland, in Czech Republic. We have a lot of Romas, by the way, in Switzerland, we are treated like any Ukrainian refugee citizens. And then just the question, if you have a choice to stay in this country or to go back to Ukraine, what will you choose finally? When you like better treated as the full citizen in this country.
So that was question to Krisztina, I guess, or.
Or probably you know.
Я якоби została by się w Czechii, bo jak tam jest більше можливостей, jak robota, mają jak дітей, сім'ю, так як ліпше в Czechii, чим тут. Просто.
So for Krisztina, it would be choice to stay in Czech Republic because there are much more opportunities for herself. She has a job to do there. She has her family and children safe there. And I would also really shortly would like to comment on your question and also to respond to it. I have many I didn't leave Ukraine during the full-scale invasion, but I have many colleagues and friends who do live in different places. And among stories what I hear, among their desires and wishes what I hear, some of them, they face more difficulties. Some of them face even discrimination, institutional on different levels. Some are in better conditions, but so many of them, they want to go back to Ukraine and they don't see themselves there and they even they are in waiting mood. They don't want to build their future there because they see themselves as part here, despite all challenges.
And if I could add something to that, this is like, to stay abroad or go back to Ukraine is a general question we keep asking Ukrainian forced migrants in Poland or in other countries. And from my experience with interviews and small talks with different Ukrainians, Roma and non-Roma, like the simplest question would be that they don't know yet. Like it all depends on how the situation developed. But yes, like basing on my knowledge, I would say that the situation, of course, and the treatment is better in other countries. But importantly, and this was also, I hope it was it was noticed from Kristina's and Marketa's statements that the situation of the Roma in the Czech Republic is quite far from perfect. Yes, and they could. I remember like the pictures they were showing from the reception centers the Roma were put into, which actually looked like prisons. With barbed wire and barred windows. So it's not like, it's important also to bear in mind that Roma also keep facing problems in other countries. Do you want to say something, or do we have time?
Jeszcze chwilę.
10 minutes behind the schedule, but
Jeszcze jedno tylko do
but Dana wanted to say something and Monika wanted to say something. So
poczekaj, jeszcze tylko chciałam dopowiedzieć do tego z kontekstu polskiego, że to jest bardzo problematyczne, do tego dopowiedzieć co Ignacy, ponieważ to jest bardzo dynamiczne i nasi rozmówcy kontaktują się i wiedzą, co się dzieje u nich w domach, tak? I jedna z naszych rozmówczyń powiedziała nam, że ona już nie ma gdzie wrócić, bo jej terytorium jest okupowane przez Rosjan.
Okay, so what Monika says, like to continue, that it is a very complex issue, and it all depends on the current situation. The people they have contact with, they are also well informed about what's happening in Ukraine and in their hometowns, and they get this constant notification. But the simple fact is also that many people they have nowhere to go back to. Because one family they are in contact with, their hometown is under Russian occupation now. So this is also.
I w jej domu mieszkają Rosjanie. Inne domy są zburzone, zniszczone i tak naprawdę część z nich nie ma gdzie wrócić, nie ma do czego wrócić. I to jest pytanie, że oni cały czas są w zawieszeniu, bo nie mają pewności, co z nimi będzie.
So, for instance, with this family, like their house is inhabited by the Russians now. Some houses are destroyed, so they have literally nowhere to go back to, and so this is like the main and crucial thing. I know we are far behind the schedule, but the very last words to Dana. Chcesz coś powiedzieć? So Dana will be speaking in Czech, or
Czech.
And the Marketa will translate.
Dobrý den všem. Já jsem strašně ráda a chci využít příležitost, jsem ráda, že jsem tady a chci využít tu příležitost mluvit k vám jako k akademický obci. Vlastně jste tady akademici.
Hello everybody, I'm very happy to be here, and I want to have a chance to have a very short speech to you as a members of academic board.
Já jsem vlastně byla aktivistkou úplně od samého počátku války a úplně od prvních zpráv, kde jsem se dozvěděla, že na hranicích Ukrajiny a Slovenska jsou Romové a nechtějí odvážet od hranic a nechtějí se o ně postarat.
I was one of the Romani activists working from the first day when I have heard in March, early March 22, that on the Slovak border there are Roma refugees and nobody is willing to help them to transport them from the border to Czech Republic or to another localities.
V Česku jsem se zasadila o to s mojí kolegyní Ivankou Čonkovou, aby jsme měli romský zástupce na KACPu, protože jsem věděla, nebo viděla, že je separujou, že je dávají zvlášť, že se o ně nestarají.
I was one of those who together with Ivana Čonková, another Roma activist, that we tried to envelop the situation or to enrich or to put the Roma representatives or the Roma volunteers from the members of Czech Roma who were helping to Ukrainian Roma at the KACP, which is like a regional center for helping to Ukrainians.
Během té uprchlické vlny vlastně ve spolupráci s Romodromem jsme měli advokátní služby, které jsme mohli jako využít pro Ukrajince, pro romský Ukrajince, nebo ukrajinský Romy.
So we were doing advocacy activities together with organization Romodrom, with which we were supporting Ukrainian Roma.
A říkám to všechno proto, protože tohle všechno bylo málo.
But this all, it was just a minimum or a very few what we could do.
Chci ukázat to, že opravdu je strašně důležitý ta zkušenost, kterou jsme vlastně prožili u nás v Česku na hlavním nádraží, ve stanovém městečku, na KACPu.
These experiences we went through in Czech Republic, in the central station, in these KACPU centers, in the 10 cities in Prague, Troja. It's very important.
A je to strašně důležitý proto, protože my se tady bavíme o orální historii. A my to chceme všechno archivovat. A v minulosti už to bylo archivované po druhé světové válce. Ale my jsme si z toho nevzali příklad, nevzali jsme si z toho ponaučení.
And it is important because we are talking here about the oral history. And as Tatiana said before, we already have, as oral historians, recorded the experience of the Roma from the Second World War with the racism and with the double treatment of Roma and Jews and so on. But this is something that we haven't actually learned anything from this horrible experience, as we can now see, because the history is repeating and without any taking experience from this horrible situation.
A další myšlenky potom až na nějaké jiné konferenci.
Sorry, another my ideas on another conference. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking time. The next panel is about to start. And yes, so let's continue our discussions, let's continue our studies, and let's continue our struggle for free, democratic, and diverse Ukraine.